Strap yourself in for a thrilling ride into the realm of innovation, drones, and transformative technology. Our guest is the mastermind behind GIS Drones, a company that is literally reshaping the aviation industry and was named among the top 6 innovative startups at the Dubai Air Show. His dedication has led GIS Drones to successfully map and improve over 200 buildings and landscapes across the GCC region, taking drone technology literally to new heights. Not only that, he has been a game changer for high-profile clients like DEWA, Mazda, Aldar, EMAR. In fact, all of the R's, he has been helping slash their costs by nearly 50% whilst boosting safety and efficiency. So buckle up for a conversation with the dynamo who is driving this drone revolution, the co-founder and CEO of GIS Drones, Mohammed Shwaki. Also joining Mr. Shwaki, I would like you to meet the pivotal figure that is helping Horton Interiors steer the company through an exciting period of growth and change over the last 5 years. A natural leader and communicator, he has masterfully overseen the recruitment and training and goal setting to drive the team's success. Beyond this, his expertise shines in managing complex design and build and fit out projects, ensuring quality while staying within scope, schedule, and budget. Today, he handles all pre- and post-contract activities and champions financial performance and making sure you stay within budget. Get ready for some key insights from the man who is literally keeping Horton Interiors in a constant forward motion. Please, let me introduce to you Abdel Momi. Welcome to Let's Talk, gents. Such a pleasure having you both here today. We're going to have a really interesting discussion about drones. This is just a phenomenal topic for me, something I'm really interested in. But before we get into drones, I have to address the topic of the Horton shirts.
Wow.
Douglas was in black last time. You're in white this time. Is this like a Star Wars Jedi versus the Sith thing that's going on?
Yeah, it's sort of balance between black and white because it's our branding colors basically. So we are trying just to show both sides. And yeah, it basically is black and white. So and sometimes I'm black and sometimes it's white. It's showing like me and him, we are trying just to complete each other and try to,
So not competing, but completing. Yeah. So it's the yin and yang of Horton represented in shirts. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Shwaki, please tell me a little bit about GIS Drones and basically the thought process you went through to come up with that fantastic organization you've created.
Yeah. I'm a techie person, so through my previous 25 years of working in the corporate world, I worked in ADNOC for 8 years and I worked in RTA for 5 years. But I always have the entrepreneurial mindset that I have to monetize my spare time. I have to have my own business, and one day I want to leave the corporate job and have my own business.
That's the dream.
It will come true to anyone, all of us, inshallah.
That's right.
So during the past 3 to 5 years, you can say that so many technological trends have come to the market, like artificial intelligence, big data, robotics programming, and also drones. I tried all of them. I did a small prototype in all of them, but I didn't find my passion in it. I didn't love it. Because you have to love what you do, you work for.
Of course.
Not the opposite. When I tried the drones, I started as a hobbyist. I bought my own drone, I flew it. I just fell in love with it. And I said to myself, I have to monetize this hobby into something really that brings value and money, of course, at the end of the day.
Mabruk, I think you've done that, sir.
Yes, I studied the market. I did a quick feasibility study. I found out that many of the drone companies are focusing into only photogrammetry and cinematography, but there are so many other areas that the drones can help with, and it has some gaps in the market into the industrial usages of the drone.
Yeah.
And this is where I focused my venture in, and I established GIS Drones from 2.5 years, and here we go.
I mean, in my brief research, I just discovered the realization that, what are drones not applicable for? So going through your website, it's clear to me that you're at sporting events, so you're following footballs with drones, you're following sports cars, cyclists, everywhere where a cameraman struggles to go. Obviously, cinema, and filmmaking, incredibly applicable. We're going to be talking mostly about the commercial office and residential hospitality, the built environment setting. But just for a second, I'd like to touch on something that I never imagined, but is perfect, especially for this time of year, because it's 50 degrees outside, depending on which weatherman you speak to. And so from 12:30 till 3 p.m., no one's allowed to work outside. Now, you have an application. No human, sorry, yeah, no human. Right. So you have an application for finding fault in solar panels. So finding where there are heat spots that kind of indicate where it's broken, and that can pick it up significantly quicker than any human can, and also isn't weather dependent. So please tell me a little bit about that before we delve into the built environment.
So this is one of the beautiful use cases that where you can use the drones into detecting the defects of the solar panels.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have a big farm of thousands of solar panels stacked into rows and columns in the middle of the desert, facing the sun to produce the expected megawatt or gigawatt of electricity. If you want to increase or maintain the productivity of these solar panels, you need to make sure that all the solar panels are clean, non-broken, well connected, and there is no defects of the solar panels or the smaller cells of that combines the full solar panel.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do that kind of inspection to know which is working and which is not, you have, in a manual way, you have to have a foreman, a labor, which holding handheld devices and scanning every single cell manually. So if you have hundreds of kilometers or meters that are covering an area, it will take you ages to finish that job. Regardless, I'm talking about risk, which and safety and time consuming and cost.
Yeah.
All that can be replaced by the beauty of using the drones. The pilot can sit in the car, the AC, without jeopardizing the rule of 12 to 3 p.m. In the sun.
Yeah.
And he can have a full autonomous mission that can scan all the solar panels in a zigzag or S shape and detect all the solar panels that are not working, defective cells or disconnected strings, and bringing a real value to the owner and the electricity behind it, so that we can increase the productivity of the solar panels to the maximum without jeopardizing the human factor.
So you're saving time and money for the clients, and
with a quality report.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll come back to that in just a few more questions. Time. I'm always completely baffled by the new fangled ways that people are using drones. Like I've seen flamethrowers, I've seen water cannon drones used in firefighting. I'm not entirely sure still whether the pizza delivery drone was a real thing, but there was definitely some marketing that was happening here locally. Is it a real thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Okay, cool.
Soon.
Yeah. So Abdel, please, if I could just hone this in on the built environment, how have you, with your hat of operations on, been leveraging at Horton to utilize drone technology?
Yeah, basically, from construction point of view, we have a lot of technologies in parallel. So in our industry, it's very important to improve the efficiency of the process in terms of operations. So to win time and cost, you need to use this technology. What happened with the drones, but the construction field started using the scanning technology to collect the data from the progress, just to improve collecting this data and use this data in the right way, in the fast way. So scanning was like different process. Then they tried to develop a lot of machines and a lot of equipment to get the right data and in the right way. Then the designers and the engineers, they can use this data just to take right decisions. Then the drones come. Drones is totally different, because if using the normal equipment to scan, it will take more time, because you need to follow the normal process to scan the entire building or the entire space. But the drone is just using one unit to just control it, and it's going to be faster and more efficient, because she will give you all the corners and you can cover the full area, entire area. And the addition thing, like after finishing the project, you need to advertise it basically, the final result. So we use the drone just to advertise the space, like this is the final product and this is the quality of final product. So the drone can help you also to just make it fast and make it nice, because with the drone you will create this kind of filming and that source. It's a really important technology where combining scanning and using the efficiency of the drone, because drone will give you more data and accurate data, so you can use this data just to develop your design or to develop your progress report or whatever is the use of the...
And is this just for new builds or is this for legacy buildings as well? And are you just using it for photography purposes, or are you using it, let's say, in the legacy facility? I know that you have an option to survey the cladding of the facility to make sure that it's up to standard.
Right.
So are you using it for new builds or is it for legacy buildings as well?
Yeah, basically we are using for both. But for example, just to give you the value of using the drone for our field, usually using the scanner, the normal scanner, it will take time and cost to scan entire building from outside. It's totally different process, a lot of technicality, a lot of engineering. But with the drone, it's very simple. Use one unit, one machine. You will put it there, and this machine will go through the building without any equipment, without any. It's just the guy who is driving the drone, and he will just scan it and give you the full data.
Yeah.
It's one building. It will take, I believe, not more than 1 day to just collect the whole building. But compared to the old way, it was like 2 months maybe process to put the equipment in the right angle from everywhere, and especially if it's in the middle of town, it's totally complicated. So with the drone, is very fast, very efficient. So you can just control the drone and just scan your building from outside and just give the data to the designer. They will collect it and give you the model in 1 day. So it's really useful basically. Yeah.
And the beauty of the drone that you can add the sensors, we call it a payload or the sensor. You can have different sensors for a different use case. Let me give you an example.
Please.
One building, first of all, you want to inspect the building, a legacy building. You want to inspect it. And after that, you want to have a digital twin or a digital transformation of the building at a 3D into your digital asset. And after that, you want to market that building. So if you consider about these requirements, these are 3 separate requirements. 3 companies are required to do every single process of that. But with the drones, and actually it was one of the projects that we have already executed in Palm Jumeirah, on the same day, using the same drone, same pilot, but different sensors. First of all, we use the drones to inspect the building in an S shape, inspecting the cladding, the concrete, the rust, the broken glasses, the isolation issues, the leakages, everything of the building. After that setting, it took us 2-3 hours. Then we replaced the sensor with another photogrammetry sensor, and we took an orbital view of the building in like an orbit shape. Using that, we generated georeferenced pictures that were stitched together to build the 3D model of the building up to 3 centimeter accurate. And after that, we replaced the sensor with another one. That second process took us another 1 hour. Then we replaced with another sensor for cinematography with wide angle, and then we went high and took a very nice cinematography of the landscape with the Atlantis, the palm behind us, and we generated a very good marketing material for that building. It took us another half an hour. So in 5 hours, we completed 3 types of inspection and 3D modeling and marketing in 1 day.
Yeah.
Which is 3 jobs. 3 companies should do that, different jobs.
So would you say you're like the foundational level of BIM, or do you come higher up in the pyramid of creating building information modeling?
BIM is a new technology where it's like complicated process to build in different way. We used to start from the 2D and the drawings to 3D, so client will happy. But now with the BIM, it's totally different. The industry is starting from building a virtual model of the building itself. So you will build
digital twin, as you were referring to.
Exactly. So you build it, then you will get the drawings and everything and all the data from this model. yeah, but the model will not give you, because the old way, the final 3D give you just geometric data, but now it's giving you geometric data, specification, materials, planning, a lot of things. So it's very important to, yeah, it's not easy process, but scanning facilitates our job in a way. Like if you want, especially for interiors, if you want shared core area, you need to get the accurate measurement of the site, because usually as built is not really accurate. So you need accurate measurement from the site, so you can build your model as per the site. So once the drawings are there, the team on site, they can't just build it accurate. They need just to follow the drawings per millimeter. So the scanning started with normal, as I explained, a normal machine, but the drone facilitate and make it faster. I remember one day I received a tender. They call us for site visit like the same day. So to arrange this equipment,
Shauki, I need you today to visit the site.
it was crazy. It was crazy. I called him. I told him, look, I need this model and I need this data today. So you need to scan it today. He said, okay, Abdel, I'm going to send it. It will take half day. No, I need just the access. I need just 1 hour. My COB today, you will get the data. Okay, this is magic. Can you please proceed? It was just a fast phone call. Then he did it and sent me data. And yeah, it was fantastic because we sent our technical submission. It was really fantastic. And client like it basically. And it was really good. This is the importance. In old way, it was like 3 or 4 days work. Like equipment, he came to the scan, and scan will take a day, sometimes more. Then he will take another day to collect the data and send it to you. So it's totally different. That's why drone is very important to just develop it, and yeah, he's developing the thing in the right way, especially in the market.
And when don't clients want something yesterday? So if you need something yesterday or that very day, pick up the phone to Shwaki. He's going to be able to help you out by bringing in some of the drones. And you've actually surveyed with your drone technology over 200 buildings and landscapes. In those surveys, have you ever found anything unexpected or interesting as part of your drone experience?
Yes, definitely.
Do tell us.
Yeah, there are some technicalities, challenges, and some legalization technical challenges as well. So, for example, we were requested to survey the cycle track of the Sheikh Zayed Road, that they are going to build a cycle track along all the Sheikh Zayed Road next to the metro. So, okay, usually that's a straightforward task. But when we started our operations, because the Sheikh Zayed Road is full of skyscrapers, and these skyscrapers are full of steel, that created a very strong electromagnetic interference with the drones. Sometimes you see the drone that's not listening to you and moving to a different direction other than where you are aiming for. And that was really one of the challenges.
Yeah.
You need to have more strong control. You have another remote control to control the drone from another pilot. You need to measure that kind of magnetic interference to avoid such an obstacle detection. And you detect it, then you can move forward. That's one of the challenges that we faced on the ground.
Of course.
Other than that, you have to follow the regulations of the country you are flying in.
Tell me more about that, because it's difficult, right, to get permission?
It is, I can say it's strict.
Right.
And it's strict to be safe. So although it's maybe others, or maybe some clients think it takes some time, extra time, more than it's expected, and we are doing more paperwork than it's expected, but it's for their safety and for the safety of all the residents in the UAE. Here in the UAE, it's one of the best regulations that you can see related to drones. Even sometimes it's better than some areas in the USA. Because when you consider flying the drone, you consider the ground and the air navigation and the civil aviation and the Ministry of Defense and the critical locations in the country. You have to take care of all these parameters and prepare your risk assessment, prepare your flying methodology. All that need to be in place to fly properly and safely. And this is what we follow, and this is why UAE is leading in the drones technology now.
I couldn't agree more. When I first touched down in Dubai, nearly 8 years ago, I was very privileged to be invited to a party at a gentleman's house called Keith Kindell. Many people who are listening will be familiar with that gentleman. Sadly, he's since passed away. But when we were in the garden having a party, a drone flew over, landed in the garden. I went over to pick it up with Keith, and it had a note saying, "Great music. Can we join the party?" And so and it had a little tick box for yes or for no. We ticked yes, of course, and they flew off.
So asking for permission?
Asking for permission. And then the neighbors came back over, and we had a good party with the neighbors. So drones were literally bringing people together 8 years ago. For me, I'm from Sheffield originally, but I spent the previous 5 years in London. Like, you just didn't get anything like that there. And here really, I think, is the most advanced place technologically and also for drones specifically, which comes to my next question. Where do you think we're going to be in the next 5 years? Like, if this is where we are today, and then you've got like artificial intelligence, all the crazy things that's happening with like OpenAI and ChatGPT, pile that on with drone technology, where could we be, and how safe will we be in the next 5 years, do you think, Shwaki?
Well, I'm sure that we are all going to see it in the coming, because it's moving very, very fast. Drones will be part of every single business, government, small and medium-sized companies. Drones will be there. You will find a drone department in every organization. You will find a drone pilot as a job in every single entity. Drones will fly autonomously. They can be controlled. You can control a fleet of drones from your control room. So whether this is for police or for firefighting or for security or for surveillance or progress monitoring, for surveying, you will find that drones can be a critical pillar of any industry, and you cannot avoid that it will be there delivering your pizza or your coffee or reaching you out in abandoned areas where if you're lost in the desert or in the forest, drones will be there for you.
Okay.
So I'll tell you one sneaky of some hidden details of our research and development. We are developing now a prototype for drone cleaning. So now any normal resident can open his window and see that there is someone who's cleaning his window. And they put a mark into the elevator that we are going to clean that day, and they just forget. But he just opened the curtain and finds that someone is cleaning his window.
Yeah.
That one will be replaced with a drone. As simple as that. You will see a drone which is splashing water into your window, and then another small robot which is maybe wiping it. Or even what I'm working on now is to have a stain-free splashing mechanism, so that after you splash the water, it cleans and no stains are there. You don't need to wipe it after that.
Okay.
From one shot. Very soon you will see it. And
how far do you think we are away from that?
With less than a month.
Oh, wow.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I can see it in my head. Right? It makes so much sense.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
That's one of the use cases, and so many use cases. Every day I'm hearing a new use case for drones. They use drones for detecting toxic gases in a landfill area. We use drones to inspect elevator shafts inside of a very high tower, because no humans were allowed to go to that elevator shaft. And we detected many reasons for disconnected wires or dead animals, and many reasons for the uncomfortability of the tenants that's in that hotel.
Yeah.
Like what?
I remember one day, we sent, the drone did full survey of site. Then they noticed on top of the elevator a big mess, and even the building management they didn't know about it since more than 1 year. Then they noticed it, and he informed me, like, we did survey, but can you just notify them that see what's going on top of the elevator?
Was it?
Yeah, it was like big dust and some pieces of papers, and it was like really dust. So we informed them. Then
some of them just quit their job, and they like just threw the papers in the elevator, and it just landed there and never cleaned up.
Yeah, to be honest, the drone, as Shawky said, and we had long conversation about that, it will replace a lot of things in the world, not just in undersea or other, but it's for if in our industry, for sure, I can see the drone giving me the progress on site.
Yeah.
So you don't need to send someone to take pictures. You don't need to send scanner to scan. Just send the drone. They will give you live, and they will even update using BIM technology. They can update your model just to compare your normal model and what is the progress on site.
Yeah.
So, and it will be daily. So it will replace site supervisor, for example. Yeah, it can be replaced site supervisor anyway, giving you reports and then all the details on site, or surveying the delivery of materials. They can be there. Just people on site, QSL in his desk, they can understand the material delivered on site and the quantities and everything. So the drone, I believe, will replace a lot of risky jobs in the future, especially in terms of security, in terms of controlling, in terms of monitoring.
Yeah. So I'm hearing risk, time, safety. Now I know you're good friends with Shawky, but I know you a little bit, and I know enough to know that you wouldn't do this unless there was a serious cost saving involved as well. And I can see from your website that the 50% cost saving by engaging in drain technology, a minimum of 50%. Wow.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate? Where are those costs coming from, the reductions there?
Well, sometimes it's even priceless. I'll give you one example. Let's say you are contracting, you are as a property owner, you have an agreement with a contractor to bring a specific number tons of sand to that to that construction site. So the truck came today, it landed the sand, and then you signed that you received 2 tons of sand. Okay, of course, the truck is there, agreed, then you left. But do you know, or can you measure that pile of sand is 2 tons? You can never know. Using drones technology, you can have something called volumetric measurement. So I can fly over that pile for just 15 minutes. I'll measure the area, I'll measure the height, I have the density of the sand. I can tell you that pile is only 1.8 tons of sand.
Oh, wow.
So the contractor have failed to deliver a missing 200 kilograms of sand to your site. And you name it. Now this can be applied to mines industry, where you are mining rocks or gold or precious stones, and you can first of all quantify how much the assets that you have, what's the value of the asset, and how much do you need from the contractor to complete the job. So you can have a project estimation using a very accurate measurement of the assets that you have.
So the problem lies in that, is if you start applying that sort of technology to humans, you could become very unpopular very quickly. If you were able to tell just what weight we were carrying around with at any given time, I would shut you down personally, because my weight fluctuates quite dramatically from one week to the next. So stay out of personal health, please, Rocky, for the time being. So what are some of the applications that are lesser known that really inspire or motivate you, that you're doing it for like a bigger purpose? So we talked about like solar, obviously that's feeding into sustainability. We talked about like race cars and delivering pizza. These are all cool things, but what are some of the ones on the margins that are lesser known out there?
Well, number one is the safety of human beings. So when it comes to the safety and minimizing risk, that will be my top priority. I think that you all hear that there are some incidents that you hear from people who are using scaffolding or maintenance units or hanging ropes to inspect buildings or clean buildings. There is some cases about incidents of accidents and even fatality that happened in these kind of industries. So we are here to help reduce that kind of risk of risking the lives of people who are hanging with ropes or scaffolding to perform these risky jobs, and the drones are there to do the same. Same in the oil and gas industry. It may happen that for oil leakages or toxic gas leakages, some gases are colorless and doesn't have any smell. And once you are exposed to that gas for less than 30 seconds, you're gone. This is where drones can detect these kind of gases and avoid any kind of risk to the human beings in the operations field.
Yeah.
So this is where really drones need to be in place, and I really urge all the organizations who work in these kind of fields to employ drones to increase the safety. And by the way, they will think maybe that that drones will replace the jobs of these people. No, actually, these people will be educated enough and to how to manage the drones and how to operate the drones. So there is also a place for them. They are all engineers, but instead of you inspect it yourself, no, use the equipment that can inspect it for you, so that you have more control and decision making.
Yes.
You're not going to replace their jobs, but are improving their jobs and their lives as well.
I think it's really important to hear a lot of the positives, like what you just mentioned, that drones are doing, because we're at a time now where drones are getting a little bit of bad press because of like wars around the world and how it's been used in the military application. So it's good to hear that, drones can actually save a lot of lives as well.
Right.
And some of the more fun applications that we discussed earlier on. I really liked the, and that's something I never would have considered, how the drone is influenced by the electromagnetic field of the vertical structures in this city. When you're working on a project, are there any other, let's not call them failures, let's call them weaknesses or setbacks that you experienced on projects that you've learned from that are similar to the one that you previously mentioned?
Simply, we crashed drones before.
Yeah.
But you learn through the process. So one of the ABC rules of the drones, that don't lose the visual line of sight of the drone. We call it VLOS, visual line of sight. The drone has to be in your visual line of sight.
Yeah.
And this is one of the rules of the UAE as well. So what happened is then that my pilot, he is very experienced now, but in the early stages when I adopted him, he was not very familiar with that. So he went a little bit far where a small mountain was in between his location.
So you weren't in the UAE then? There's no mountains in the UAE.
It was in Oman.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you for that. It was in Oman. So he flew. He wanted to go a little bit further to survey the area behind that mountain. So once the drone went out beyond his visual line of sight, he lost the control of the drone, and he lost the drone. We spent half the day searching for the drone, and luckily we found the drone with some scratches, some broken legs and propellers. We fixed it, but that was one of the good lessons to be learned.
Now, as you're the expert in the subject, I couldn't not ask you this question, because this is, again, a hot topic. It always comes in the news. There's many TikToks and Instagram and Facebook videos on the subject, but flying taxis and flying cars, which are essentially pilotless drones anyway.
Yes.
So where are we with that technology? It looks a little bit sketchy from what I'm seeing, like if there's no bubble to enclose you and you've got swirling propellers like either side, like one arm comes out, you're going to shred that arm. So where are we with that tech, and how far are we to like actually implementing it?
It's there.
Yeah.
Actually, the technology was developed, it was enhanced, and I remember when I was working in RTA, it was called the flying taxi. From RTA, we presented this in GITEX. I was managing the GITEX event at that time, I think 2018 or 17. Since then, I think it was only one company in the world who was doing this flying taxi, but now there are so many. So the problem is not with the technology, the problem is with the regulations.
Okay.
Because I don't think that there is a government in any country of the world that's allowing the flying taxis to be flying all over the city because of the risks and the regulations, not because the technology is not yet ready. It's now available. I can assure you there are so many kinds of companies and who can hold 1 or 2 persons that can up to 200 kg and can fly minimum 30 minutes in the city, taking you from point A to point B using the helipads on top of the buildings. It's there.
Rough idea what it costs? How much would one of those cost, roughly?
It's not for us. It's for what I do. So I really don't know, but
hundreds of thousands of dollars, dirhams,
but not more than $300,000 or $400,000 for the taxi. I believe so. But again, the more competition, the more companies come into the market, the price will go down and down until it will be affordable for all of us.
Yeah, I believe, just to add to that, I believe this technology of using it for delivery, for taxi, is linked to the whole system, because our cities and our design of the cities is for the normal taxi, right?
It was not built for that yet.
Exactly. So it's about changing the whole thing. You need to integrate the whole concept to start using this flight. For example, in Saudi Arabia, if they are talking about city without roads, it's just a city through the mountain. Maybe there they can't.
That's new, by the way.
Yeah,
We designed it this way.
Yeah, so if they can't integrate it there, maybe they can find a way to start using this technology, because it's a whole thing. It's not just using for taxi with the old system, so it's going to be a big mess.
Right.
But if they can design it together, for sure it will work, and it will be a good cost, basically. Even the price, it will be fantastic. Yeah.
So I'll ask the same question to you. Where do you see the technology being integrated into the built environment in the next 5 years? How much more sophisticated can we get?
To be honest, I'm going to give you just an example. I can see it like with augmented reality and virtual reality. I can see the drone on site, just with shared core area, and just demonstrate the design to the client who is sitting in US or in UK, just to see the area in Dubai, how is the design is working, and they can add and remove elements through the drone. So designer in his office in UK, the client is in US, and the drone on site here in Dubai, just discussing the design and the details. This is the future of. Yeah, it's not amazing. Yeah, it's we are planning basically to do that, but yeah, it will take time, of course, and we are professionals where we have to push these things to happen in the market, because it's helping time, it's reducing a lot of risks, and it's just giving creativity. So it's going to be faster for the client to give comments, faster for designer to change things. With using BIM technology is lifetime changing, so just change it immediately. So it's going to be like, it's ready. After the meeting, it's ready to just proceed on site. So it's going to be like a different level for sure. But yeah, I can't see it 5 years. It's going to be within 1 year or within 2 years maximum.
Innovate or get left in the dust, right?
Exactly.
And talking about innovation, you were actually listed as the top 6th innovative startups at the aviation sector at the Dubai Air Show. Tell me about that experience. How did you get into that? What was it like? Was it nerve-wracking?
Definitely, yes. Because in the air show, you are exposed to the top aviation players in the market. Boeing was there, Etihad was there, and all the experts in the aviation in the world are gathered into that air show. And when I presented to them our idea for the building inspection, what unique proposition that we are adding here is that we are employing the artificial intelligence technology to the inspection methodology. Once you finish the drone capture and you have a lot of pictures of every single spot of the building, we upload these pictures into the artificial intelligence system. And we have trained that system to detect about 30 to 31 types of defects in the building, like cracks, corrosion, paint spilling, isolation issues, you name it. All these kinds of issues are trained into the system. In 10 minutes, the system can inspect about 500 pictures with 90 to 95% of accuracy. And that was one of the unique propositions that we presented there. We compensate the remaining 5% by having another quality assurance engineer who are expert in the inspection to review the remaining 5% of that system. Then you have a final report which is 100% accurate to our clients. And because of that, we were qualified as the top 6. Actually, during the qualification, I went to the top 3. Then someone else won the competition.
But damn it.
Well, actually, I'm coming this year again. There is a Dubai Air Show this year in November, and we are participating, and we are also into the competition. Let's see what's will happen.
Are you leading with the cleaning technology, or do you have another innovation in your back pocket that you're going to launch then?
Something else related to 5G, but I'll talk about this next episode.
Oh, that's so cool. So it really sounds to me, Shawky, that if you're not using like drone technology and the multitude of sensors that's available, then you might not be necessarily leveraging the maximum amount of ability to save time, to save money, just to really speed up the whole process of either, a legacy facility or a brand new building. So they really do need to reach out to you and others like you to speed up this process and save their clients a little bit of money. So I'm so pleased that Horton are already well down the way of leveraging this technology and saving time and money for their clients. So it was really great to interview you today. Thank you both. Thank you.
Lovely,
Thank you.
lovely.
Great interview.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, gents.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Best dressed guests so far. For someone that's usually behind the camera, you look very good in front of it too. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, gents.